Hello, this is a little video on posture. So we're going to be going over ideal posture when you're standing and ideal posture when you're sitting. We're going to start with standing. So if you actually want to stand up and do this with me, that would be awesome. And I can kind of cue you through from the ground up as we go forward. So we're going to stand with our feet about hip distance apart. So go ahead and look down at your feet. I want you to make sure there's about a fist or two width between your arches. And then all 10 toes are forward. And go ahead and lift your 10 toes and try to spread them wide and then lay them back down. So a lot of times as we go about life, we wear shoes a lot and we don't use our feet kind of how they were created. So there's lots of ligaments and tendons that make up the feet and they need to be moved and they need to be strengthened and that kind of thing. So just this here is a nice exercise to do with your feet, moving all those ligaments and tendons, and it actually helps to keep your feet healthy so you have good balance. As we wear shoes, the shoes support us versus letting the arches do their work and the rest of the muscles in the feet. And so without shoes, you should practice walking without shoes a little bit more and using your foot in its full mobility so that they can get stronger so you don't lose your balance as you age. So that's one of the reasons balance gets harder as we age is because our feet have become so used to being supported by shoes versus using them the way they were created. So back to feet. We want to have all 10 toes forward and then just kind of close your eyes for a minute, hands at your sides, and gently rock forward and back, maybe an inch or two, feeling your body weight shift. I'm noticing that space in the middle where you want to get to, where not all your weight is in your heels or in the balls of your feet. We tend to rest in our heels. And then we have some other postural issues if we're resting in our heels. So go ahead and just rocking back and forth, trying to find that sweet spot right in the center. And then once you've found that, just rest in that spot and then you can open your eyes again. Looking down at your feet, one more little adjustment. We tend to let our arches fall in, and some of us even have flat feet, that's fine. Think of the weight being dispersed a little bit more on the outer part of your feet. So it's the slightest movement, but I'm taking my weight off of the inner heel and transferring it gently to more of the outer part of the foot from pinky toe all the way to heel. So it's really minute and small, but it's a way to get that good foot placement and that good balance for a good posture. Moving up your legs, glancing down, we want to have our knees over our ankles, and then we want to have our hips over our knees. So we tend to have misproportionate strength and flexibility in our core from the way that we stand and move. So we're going to try to work on that. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. So with my feet hip distance apart, I tend to want to go into that lordosis curve. So this is kind of what my natural curvature would be if I was not cognizant of my posture. So I'm not going to think of tucking under, I'm just going to think of drawing my tailbone down towards my heels. So my tailbone is reaching for that space in between my heels. As I do that, my upper body kind of lines up and I'm in that good posture. So finding that middle ground again on the feet, and then taking my hands on my hips, drawing my tailbone towards the space in between my heels. And you'll notice your legs are going to engage. So you'll have some nice tightness in your legs, and that's good. That's helping you to be strong. And then from here, think of your rib cage and your spine growing tall out of your hips. So I'm going to kind of lift up a little bit, almost as if I'm wiggling my torso out of my hips. And that's just creating space so your digestive organs have more space to do their job. And also, it's giving your rib cage more expansion, so as you breathe, you can take in more air. As your rib cage expands and you're in this nice, tall, proud posture, you can take in more air, which means that you're going to be breathing better and you're going to have more energy. So take a nice inhale. I want you to rise your shoulders up as you inhale, growing nice and tall, crown of your head reaching for the ceiling. And then as you exhale, slowly lower your shoulders down and back. So if you want to glance at me again, I'm going to show you what I did showing you my back. I inhaled and then exhaled down and back. Shoulder blades are hugging my spine, and I just let my shoulders melt down as the crown of my head is reaching up. So we're going to take this all at once and kind of incorporate all of this so you can feel what it's going to feel like when you're standing in Tadasana or standing mountain pose for yoga, which is also ideal posture alignment. The last little thing before we move on to that, though, is noticing my chin and my jaw. So we tend to rest here because we're on a computer, we're driving, we're doing things in front of us, and the weight of our head is pretty heavy. So we need to start training the muscles so that what happens is you're coming forward, this gets really tight, this gets really relaxed, neck pain in between the shoulder blade. So think of, instead of here, we're going to gaze forward. Think of your chin being parallel to the ground and then just pulling back about an inch. So this would be ideal, and your spine and neck muscles can hold up your head the way they were created to, versus here where you're putting a lot of torque and force forward, causing that neck pain and that shoulder tension. So chin parallel to the ground, pulling your chin back, and then standing in that Tadasana posture. Okay, close your eyes. I'm going to cue you from the ground up. Go ahead and gently rock forward, back and forth as you're finding that sweet spot. Coming up the knees to the hips. Tailbone is reaching for the floor. You may feel a little tilt, but we're not tucking here. As you inhale, think of your torso, your spine, your ribs growing, reaching out of your hips. Maybe even wiggling side to side helps that. Take a nice inhale, shoulders reach up towards your ears. As you exhale, you're rolling them back and down. Palms are just facing your legs or facing me, whatever's comfortable. Fingertips reaching for the floor. As the crown of your head is reaching up, you're pressing into the earth with your feet as if you're pressing the floor away. So you have energy moving in 4 directions here. You're reaching up through the crown, pressing down through the feet, and fingertips reaching for the floor. Now take a nice inhale. As you exhale, keeping this posture, but allowing your body to soften. Notice where you're gripping. So you can still stay in this lengthened posture. You can still press into the ground with your heels, but just try to relax a little bit. Maybe that means turning your palms in towards your sides. And just close your eyes one more time, noticing how this feels. And knowing that you can move back to this ideal posture alignment at any time. If you're on the computer and you take a break every half hour or an hour, stop for a moment, stand up, get into this ideal posture alignment. Take 5 deep breaths. Every time you inhale, think of crown growing tall. Every time you exhale, think of feet grounding into the earth. And just kind of reset yourself. I'm going to grab a chair and we're going to sit in a chair. Actually, I'll just sit on the couch behind me. And we'll go through the same thing for sitting. Literally, the only thing that's going to change is that I'm going to bend my elbows and bend my knees. So we're going to move into 90-degree angles, and we're still going to stack things, even when you're on your computer. So you may have to play with raising and lowering the keyboard or raising and lowering the monitor. Because if you're on your keyboard and your laptop's here and you're looking down, you're putting that shear force on your neck. So sometimes if you lift it up, and then you can keep your hands so you have these right angles. So I'm still in that good posture. I'm just sitting and I'm here. I tend to sometimes stand at my counter and type because I can be in that ideal posture. I'm a little bit shorter, so depending on the height of the chair, I can't get comfortable and it's strenuous. If I'm in my husband's office, the chair goes up and down, so I can make the chair go as high as I need it to. The only problem there is that my feet don't touch the floor then, so then I have to put my feet on something to keep that aligned. So you kind of play with it, see what feels best for you, and just remember you want to mimic this blueprint of you standing in Tadasana as you're sitting. So if I'm going to sit at my desk here, this is a really good spot actually for me to work because I'm short and it's low to the ground, and then my hands would be on my keyboard. I'm actually going to grab this table to show you. I'm right here. My feet are flat on the ground. My knees are at a right angle. My hips are at a right angle. As I get tired, I want to slouch or I want to arch my back. So what I do is I still think, if I find myself in that, I just say, okay, I need to work on my posture a little bit. I draw my tailbone down. I sit up nice and tall, and I draw my shoulder blades hugging my spine. It's going to feel awkward. Play with it for about 5 minutes and then let your body relax. And do that every 30 minutes or so, and you're going to really start to train those muscles into how you want them to be when you are working, sitting, driving, that kind of thing. So if you want to close your eyes for a minute, if you're sitting in a chair, starting with your feet, gently pressing them into the floor. Tailbone is reaching down, crown of your head up. Shoulders relax down away from ears, and shoulder blades gently hugging your spine. And the last thing is your chin, lifting it parallel to the floor and gently pulling it back. And just sit here for a few breaths, noticing how this feels as you make your way back into the rest of the day, hopefully incorporating this standing and this seated posture. If you have any questions, send me a message, email me, and I will get it answered right away. And if you have something ergonomically going on with your workstation you're not sure about, feel free to shoot me a picture, and I can help you, give you some ideas of how you could revamp it and get it so it'll work for you. So that's it. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.